Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the studentloanjustice.org live stream. It is rather dark in here. Sorry about that. I forgot to turn on my other light. Okay, that's okay. We can do this. It is February 20th. It is Monday evening. I hope everybody, 2023, hope everybody's doing well out there in the world. We are Student Loan Justice. We're the oldest and largest, and in many ways, only true grassroots group fighting only and absolutely for student loan justice. Couple of quick announcements. We're going to be in Los Angeles, believe it or not, on March 1st, 6:30 p.m. at I still can't remember the name of the place, but this is a thing being put on by the Jewish Free Loan Association in Beverly Hills, believe it or not. So if you happen to be in Los Angeles on March 1st and you want to come by and see us, you can do that. It's normally a $25 fee to get into this thing. We're going to be screening the film Lone Wolves that you can see there below in the Chiron, I think they call those things. The little streaming thing below me. But if you want to come to that event, Lisa can get you in for free. Lisa Ansell, Ansell. So find me or find Lisa and we can get you a free ticket. So good. We hope to see you there. A couple of our members are going to be showing up, I know. So it should be fun. Also, and I guess as always, thank you. Thanks to everybody who donated last week, by the way. We were cutting it very close with our expenses. If you can make a donation at this time, it is just exceptionally helpful. This is a very, very difficult time of the year for us historically, but even more so this year for some reason. I don't know why that is, but if you can donate, please do it. We are just a normal by the seat of our pants grassroots organization. We can do what we do on very little funding. We can't do it on absolutely nothing. So if you appreciate the work that we've done and so forth, just please donate so I can shut up about it. This coming week, I think we have to raise on the order of, I think, about $500 this week. Thankfully, we've taken our email expense down a lot since last year. We were paying like $3,000 a month last year towards the end, and oh my goodness. So we've stripped our email coverage down significantly since then. But even still, guys, we need to raise a not insignificant, but not a large amount of money. Compared to the amount of money that our opposition spends against us, it's like almost nothing. But Anyways, help if you can. Okay, I'll shut up now. I'm going to look for your questions or comments early tonight. So the current state of things is this, guys. The bigger picture is this. The Democrats, and we're a fiercely nonpartisan group, by the way. No matter what your political persuasions may be, you're very welcome on this group. We are as politically as neutral, I guess, as nonpartisan as you can possibly get. Frankly, we hate both parties at this point. And the reason why is this. It's kind of a good cop, bad cop thing. Like the Democrats pretend that they're on our side, but when it gets push comes to shove, they're not. And the Republicans just basically hate us. So that is what it is. The Democrats betrayed us last session, guys, last congressional session. Democrats had everything they needed to return bankruptcy protections to student loans. And that lies at the core of the entire student loan problem. I know I say that every night. And if you've watched this live stream before, you've heard me say it so many times. Whether you would ever or never file for bankruptcy is not important, guys. Getting the constitutionally enshrined right of bankruptcy returned means everything. Until we do that, until we get that very fundamental right returned to us, we're going to be begging this president, the next president, to cancel loans until the cows come home. And what we'll get are these lame, feckless, designed to fail loan cancellation gimmicks right before elections. And that's going to be how that goes, guys. That's a non-starter. We got to get some power back on our side, guys. And it starts with the return of bankruptcy. Whether you would ever or never file for bankruptcy does not matter. Most people shouldn't have to file, but we've got to get the right back. So anyways, Democrats failed this last session. They had a great bill. They could have easily passed. They had it in the Democratic National Committee platform to return bankruptcy to student loans, and they chose not to. They had all the votes they needed. So that remains our number one priority, like by a lot, guys. And the most important action item I have for you, trying to front load our live streams with actionable information. We're asking everyone to call both of their senators and their House representative and get a phone conference with ideally their judiciary staffer in Washington, D.C. That would probably be the best. But anybody in their office, I guess, is fine. You know, with the actual senator or congressperson, House rep would be obviously the best. That's usually pretty hard to pull off, though. But get a meeting with them. Bring us onto the meeting. I guess us meaning me, basically, or maybe the handful of other people in this group who can speak really well to this topic. We can do most of the talking. We've got a very strong and compelling argument to make with, frankly, we have a stronger argument with Republicans than with Democrats. If you just think about the big government student loan scam, and it is a scam, it's something that no Republican should like. So anyways, get us in a phone conference with them. And we are very happy to do most or all of the talking if we need to. We're very good at doing this, guys. We've been sharpening this blade to a razor's edge for many, 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 many years now. And so, yeah, it's what we're good at. And it makes no sense for us to be sitting here doing nothing. Hey, Lisa Ansel's with us tonight. Lisa Ansel asks, hey, do you have stats on California regarding student loan debt versus the state budget? Great question, Lisa. You know, many of the states, over a third of U.S. states, student loan debt exceeds the entire state budget in those states. It's like Georgia, for example. Georgia's state budget is $48 billion. Georgians, the people of Georgia, owe $81 billion, or 169% of the state budget in mostly federal student loan debt. But Lisa, for California, the state budget of California, and I'm going off memory here, and I may have to correct myself after this broadcast. But the people of California owe about $174 billion in student loans. The state budget of California is somewhere around, I want to say like 225 billion. So as a percentage, I think California is around 80, I want to say 85 maybe percent of their state budget. And I can find out exactly what that number is for you shortly, Lisa, but I will get to the bottom of that for you. But it's terrible, guys. You know, the worst states by that measure are basically the entire South. So like Texas, Florida, Georgia. Georgia's the worst. Georgia, Texas, Florida, North and South Carolina, Missouri, Indiana is terrible. Kentucky, Oklahoma's not great. Louisiana's not great. What are the other southern states that I haven't mentioned yet? Anyways, pretty much the whole entire South is just absolutely wrecked in student loan debt by that measure. But also states like, you know, New Hampshire or South Dakota or Virginia, Maryland. Student loan debt exceeds the entire state budget of all of those states. And almost nobody in the country knows this, guys. This is research that we did a year or maybe even, maybe even getting on 2 years ago. But it's very true, and nobody knows it. And everybody in the states that I've just mentioned and quite a few others need to know that. That's a big deal, guys. That is just like a jaw dropper. Specifically for like governors. The governors of all those states I mentioned, I can almost guarantee you they don't know that, and they need to know it. South Carolina, terrible. I already said South Carolina. I said Georgia. Anyways, I'll dial that in and I'll send it to you, Lisa. Hey, Jackie from Texas is with us tonight. Jackie says, "I wish it was on a Friday." Oh, so many days of work in the middle of the week. Yeah, I think you're talking about our event in Los Angeles. Yeah, it's kind of tough. It's, you know, it's not so important that you'd want to like take a flight or anything to see it, I don't think. But, you know, I would love to come to Texas at some point, Jackie. And we talked about this earlier, which maybe actually I should also bring this up, guys. I have some bad news, and that is the SLJ van, like the thing that we bought a while back. The SLJ van is now toast, dudes. The engine is fried. Like, we threw a rod, and it had lots of oil too, by the way. This happened like, I think about a month ago. Just a terrible, terrible, unfortunate event. So guys, we're going to have to raise money, like some very serious money, to get a new vehicle for me and for student loan justice. And knock on wood, assuming that happens, I would love to do another, maybe not a nationwide, but like a half nationwide trip this summer and fall. So like, I want to go to like Iowa. I would love to go to like Texas. I would love to go to North and South Carolina, quite frankly. Those are very important states for this battle. I love California anyways, but I don't want to wreck another van. So I don't want to put too many miles on it, but stay tuned on that, guys. I'm going to be doing a GoFundMe here pretty soon, and I hope that people are kind. Raising $5,000 is just it's a very tall order for us. So hopefully we can pull it off. We'll just have to see. Sharpening this blade to a razor's edge. Oh wow, I am way behind on my live stream. Okay. Lisa says, we are going to shake things up in Los Angeles with these horrible California stats. I know, right? $174 billion in student loan debt hanging around the necks of the people in California. Like, that's first. That's worse. That's the highest in the nation. I think the second place state, Texas, it's a pretty distant second. It's like $30 billion behind. People of Texas owe $141 billion. People of Florida owe 120 billion. New York is about 100 billion. And so it's just terrible. But yeah, guys, so the bigger picture is this. The Democrats screwed us. We are now in a mixed, i.e. gridlocked Congress. So if bankruptcy was hard to get done last session, it's going to be even harder this session. And we've got to hit the Republicans hard. So please get us in a phone conference with your elected official, especially and in particularly if they are Republicans. If you have Republican senators, if you have Republican House rep, we absolutely must get into a phone conference with them. Now, the way it works best is when their own constituents, i.e. you, make that call and you set up that phone conference. It's just the way it works best, guys. It's for maximum pressure and so forth. So please make that happen, would you? You know, we cannot do all the work on this end. And if you've been with our group for any length of time, you know, this is not a eat popcorn and watch Alan and Lisa and Jackie do all the work. No. That's not what this group is. This is a working, fighting group. You got to fight. You got to pull your own weight here. We cannot pull your weight for you. And sorry about that, guys. If you want to go to one of the other stupid fake student loan advocacy groups who never ask you to do anything and they try and rope you into loan consolidation, they try and sign you up with a debt coach or some other nonsense where they're trying to make money off of your ass. Well, go ahead and do that. And good luck with that. That's not the way this problem gets solved, guys. The way this problem gets solved is with normal people like you and me and Lisa and Jackie and everybody else I see here on the group tonight. Hey, Leslie, you and me and everybody else getting the job done. These are your loans. This is your problem. And the fakes in Washington, D.C., the talking heads and so forth, they're not going to solve this problem for us. You know, in many ways, most of the other groups I've seen in action are just complete nonsense. They don't actually want to solve this problem. They're making too much money off of this problem. They don't want to solve it. They want to pimp this problem. So yeah, you want to be lazy and stupid? Well, go there. This group here is for people willing to get their knuckles a little dirty and maybe a little bloody. This is a tough fight that we're engaged in. These are your loans, your livelihood that's on the table here, on the platter, as they say. Leslie says, I so missed this stream. I apologize in advance because I do not have technology at work and can't chime in. Oh, well, you just chimed in there, Leslie, so you're doing something right. Hey, Vanjie's with us. Hey, Vanjie. And so, you know, some of the people on our group, I don't know why I always do this whenever I see Vanjie, but so you know, like Vanjie, for example, I happen to know, she borrowed $26,000. She has repaid nearly $100,000, if not more, if you count some of the other things back in the day. Vanjie has repaid about $100,000 on a $26,000 loan, right? That's ridiculous. Vanjie still owes $132,000 on her student loans. Like, if those are the sorts of numbers that you're looking at, well, then you absolutely came to the right place. And if you're not impressed with Biden's lame, fake ass, designed to fail student loan cancellation, $10,000. Most people on our group are like, you know what? You may as well just add $10,000 to my balance. This is just ridiculous. And as I said, Biden's loan cancellation was designed to fail. Now, I will say, this group is responsible for bringing the concept of canceling student loans by executive order into the public conversation in the first place. That all started with this group. I kid you not. This group is responsible for excellent bankruptcy legislation that we have had to fight for the past 2 congressional sessions. Those bills would absolutely would never have happened but for this group and our efforts. So we are getting very seriously good and big things accomplished on this group. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that we cannot do your work for you. We need way more help, way more people helping this year than last year. You know, last year, I want to say on any given day, maybe a couple, 300, 500 people. maybe a couple thousand people at the most were helping us with, for example, our daily actions, which you can see right there. We do daily actions, not every day. As the year begins, we're doing maybe 2 or 3 per week now. But as time goes on, we will be doing daily actions every single day. If you need something to do, you can always go there and do the past couple of weeks worth of our daily actions. They're very important. They're very well targeted, and they really do help. They help tremendously. But yeah, guys, the reality of our situation is that more people need to be helping us on a, I would say daily, but even a couple times a week basis. You need to maybe pencil block out a little tiny bit of time in your calendar so that, even spending a half an hour a week doing our daily actions, getting meetings with your congressmen and your senators, that sort of thing. It really, really, really helps when everybody does it. And so you can't sit there and eat popcorn and cheerlead from the sidelines and then wait and wonder and worry about what's going to happen. No, that's another group. That's not this group. This group, you got to make it happen. And that's the truest, most important thing that I'll say. So yeah, guys, I'm going to keep it purposely short tonight, but I hope something that I've said tonight has gotten through to you all. Remember this, you're not alone. 85% of all federal student loan borrowers were never going to be able to repay their loans even before the pandemic. That's 38 million people. And if you count private student loans, it's closer to 42 million people who are losing sleep. They're underwater on their student loans. They should all of them should be in this group here. I kid you not. Well, I'm realistic. I don't think it's beyond the pale to hope and expect that we on this group can get at least a couple of million people on this group. Do you agree? I hope you agree. Our petition has like 1.2 million signatures. That's a great start. But, Facebook shadow bans us. I'm pretty sure Twitter has always been problematic for us for whatever reason. So who knows what's going on. What I do know is that word of mouth is by far and away the strongest thing that we got going for us, guys. And when you spread the word about this group, people will seek us out and they will find us. And we need you to. There is true strength in numbers, guys. We have got just a massive muscle to flex. So Vanjie says 1 in 65 American adults in America have student loan debt. Au contraire, it's far more than that, Vanjie. I think that was probably a typo. 1 in roughly 5 Americans, 1 in roughly almost 1 in 4 U.S. adults. So that's adults. Close to 1 in 4. It's like 23% or something. Close to 1 in 4 adults in this country have student loans, and about 18%, so almost 1 in 5 of all U.S. adults were never going to be able to repay their student loans. So if you go to a bar where only adults are, right, and you see 5 people, the chances are one of those people is losing sleep at night over their student loans. That's true. So we're everywhere. We could easily, as I said, have millions and millions and millions, tens of millions of people on our little group here. And we should. So, but that's only going to happen when everybody on the group decides to speak out publicly, talk to their friends, talk to their neighbors, talk to acquaintances, talk to random strangers on the bus or something about studentloanjustice.org. And when you do that, we will become a massive force of nature, like nuclear strong. Our argument is nuclear strong. But honestly, guys, we've got to have way more people on this group, and we got to have way more people helping. That all starts with you guys. The internet's not going to solve this problem for us, obviously. But yeah, that's true. And by the way, as long as I'm spitting statistics out, most people with student loans are over the age of 35, not under. This is not a younger person's problem like they like to say in the media. It is a younger person's problem, but it is more an older person's problem than a younger person's problem. People over the age of 50, which I am, we now outnumber people under the age of 25 with student loan debt. That's true. And we owe, on average, 300% more than the younger crowd, the under 25 crowd. And that's despite having borrowed far, 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 far less on average many years or decades ago. Yeah, everybody's got, to Leslie. Leslie says, I keep telling everyone to join, but they are reluctant. Yeah, well, people need to get off their ass because we're not going to win this battle for them, clearly. We need them to cast off whatever stigma or whatever excuse they have rolling around in their little noggin that keeps them from fighting this fight. They need to kick that to the curb. Don't be lazy. Don't be cynical. Those are the two things that I point to. But, I get that. People don't want to go out in the middle of the street and shake their fists and say, I'm being screwed in student loan debt. Nobody wants to do that. I didn't say this was a particularly pleasant fight. It's not. This is not a particularly pleasant problem. But, going back to the founding of this country, where the Pilgrims and even the founding fathers were being savaged, being wrecked under debt to, back then, it was back to, British banks and merchants and friends of the king. Debt being used as an instrument of tyranny, debt being used to conquer and enslave countries. Those are John Adams' words, not mine. It's been a thing. And so too, here we are today. We find that the unfair, in this case with student loans, unconstitutional use of debt to wreck a country, it's still a thing today. It wasn't a pleasant fight in 1776. It's not a pleasant fight today, but you got to fight it. Every generation has their battle. This is apparently ours. So last question, because I swore I was going to keep this short, but Lisa, but I have to read this one because this is a great question. Lisa asks, what is the best response to why should my tax dollars go to paying off student loans when I either paid off my loans or I didn't go to college? And to Lisa, I say, well, not to Lisa, to anybody asking that question, I say, number one, don't flatter yourself. The taxpayers have made a king's ransom on this loan scam to the point that it's fallen over the cliff and it's gone into catastrophic failure. Of that $1.6 trillion, my best estimate is probably low, is that the overwhelming, like 90+% of that, it's not unpaid principal, it's profit. It's interest, it's fees, it's penalties. The taxpayers have made their money back on this loan scam, and every nickel of certainly federally owned student loan debt could be canceled tomorrow. And the taxpayer would be probably breaking about even, maybe even finishing in the black. And even if that wasn't true, I'd still say, you know what, to those of you who repaid your student loans in years or more often decades in the past, because most of the complainers go, oh, I paid my student loans, and they don't tell you they went to college in the 80s when they borrowed like $1,600, where today the average undergrad is leaving with $38,000. But whatever the case may be, to people who repaid their loans in years or decades past, or people who were able to pay cash without taking on loans for their college, I say congratulations. I salute you. This is no longer your problem. The loans will not be paid. They will not be paid by and large. The loans will be canceled. And that is just a fact of nature. You know, even before this pandemic, 60% of all borrowers had stopped paying on their loans. That's going to go up to like 80, 85% whenever they have the chutzpah to try and turn this lending program back on. But yeah, so the main answer is don't flatter yourself. The taxpayers will be just fine. They've made almost nearly or maybe even actually every nickel they ever put out for loans. They've made their money back. And remember, this is for a lending program that was supposed to be free of interest back when they rolled the thing out in 1965. LBJ said that. And today, $100 billion a year in interest clicks off on our backs. The loans will not be paid. The loans will be canceled. You know, we're headed for a default rate of, who knows, 80%. The lending system is finished. The lending system is in catastrophic failure. And in my humble personal opinion, nobody should ever pay another dime back, certainly on their federal student loans. This is a cancer. This is a malignant abomination. Student loans were an extremely bad idea. Predatory, unconstitutional student loans were an evil and horrendous idea. That's what we got. So if you want to go wag your finger about your tax dollars being wasted, you should go to all the people who got PPP loans. Those all did indeed cost the taxpayer a lot of money. Those PPP loans required money to be drawn from the Treasury. Those PPP loans required money to be actual money to be added. Well, required us to increase the national debt by $1 trillion to make those PPP loans. None of those things are true for student loans. The taxpayer has been repaid. The student loans can be canceled without needing one dime from the Treasury, unlike PPP loans, and without adding even one penny to the national debt. Again, unlike PPP loans. Now, there are some very evil people in Washington, D.C. who would use these predatory profits, government profits on student loans. And remember, the government doesn't profit on anything. The government does not profit on anything. So there are some evil people, and they are evil in Washington, D.C., who would use predatory government profits on student loans to bail us out of our budget mess. Well, I'm here to tell you, that's not on. It's not going to happen. People are done. Student loans are now a national joke. Even before the pandemic, they were a national joke. The pandemic was the nail in the coffin. So take heart, guys. It is going to be a tough year for us, though, and we do absolutely need you. And this is the right fight. It's a good fight. The founding fathers are on our side. The U.S. Constitution is on our side. And 42 million people in the country would be on our side if they knew about us. And when you tell them about us, they will know about us. So yeah, and I see some really good questions there. And I'll address those offline, but no, this is a great conversation to have. And let's continue this conversation on Wednesday, shall we? I will be back on Wednesday. In the meantime, if you need to know what you can do, just rewind this video. And it's pretty self-explanatory. So I'll be back on Wednesday. With some luck, our fearless co-leader Ed McKinley will hopefully maybe be back tomorrow. He's taken the first part of this year off for very well-deserved and good reasons. So we love you, Ed. But regardless, I will certainly be back on Wednesday night, and so I'll see you then. Tell everyone you know about this group, guys. We have a Tiger by the tail. So grab a handful of fur and let's catch a ride. See you on Wednesday. Good luck. Godspeed. God bless everyone.